All right, so one of the baseline ways that we can get into this space of cybersecurity and really across the board, any exam that you're studying for, the um, CEH, the CISSP, Security Plus, the CASP, the Linux Plus, the whole suite of acronym soup that's out there has something that is related to the recon phase. And we went through last month some of the easier ways to do things. And tonight we're going to spend a little bit of time just talking about some of the basics with footprinting and reconnaissance. And if this is a review to you, then sit tight or let me know that you want to go ahead and have control. And I can sit back and relax while you teach it. But for right now, this is where we start. We teach people how to go out and think a little bit differently, more creatively than they have in the past, with just bare bones stuff that are tricks of the trade. So really, if you've heard the term or the being able to talk a little bit about this, two left feet. Really, if you're tripping over yourself and you don't know how to do things, it's quite important for us to go through and just start at the basics, get in and get deep into the bowels of not only some of the technical sides of the house, but stuff on the management side of the house as well. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go through here in this particular domain and talk a little bit about some of the ways that we can footprint, we can do other things creatively and innovatively out on asking Dr. Google or just various parts of the internet. Uh, so if I was to ask you, anybody on the horn right now, why would it be important for us to maybe want to do footprinting on a company? Let's say that we've been engaged to do a risk assessment or maybe a vulnerability assessment to check out Boeing or Lockheed Martin or Northrop Grumman or one of the big contractors that are out there. If we wanted to have a seat at the table to compete for that project, there's certain things that people like us would be looking for from a vendor that would be potentially a candidate to come in and do that assessment for us. So give me an example with those three and I guess any myriad of others. Why would we actually want to go out and do a little bit of recon on that company, specifically maybe finding the company's URLs, the public websites, restricted websites, and maybe any internal URLs? Why would we want to do that?
It will allow you to gather information for social engineering as well as other attacks.
That's right. That's right. So really, it's that's what we're in the business of: is how much intelligence can we gather? And I think that without doing the proper steps up front here, we can pretty much bet on that we're not going to actually go and win any type of work. So this is one of the most important steps along the way, and it's quite interesting some of the things that we can find out there about particular company and or people, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So if you check this out, the searching for companies information or people information, and we can gather intelligence from financial services or Google, Bing, anything that's out there. Quite interestingly enough, we see a bunch of different artifacts that are remnant on the internet. And we'll go through and talk a little bit about uh, some of these here in a second. First and foremost, what I'd like to do is I'd like to just do something that we spent a little bit of time on last time, or last month, or maybe it was the previous month. I'm not 100% sure, but essentially go out, we try to gather intelligence on a target, and start to build a good, solid portfolio on that particular entity that we may be trying to engage with. So if we just take a look here at some of these that I have down on the screen down at the bottom right here, one that's very, very familiar to us is this one called PIPL. And just bear with me here while I go through this step here. So PIPL, and another one would be Spokio. Another one would be Intellius. And of course, you got Dr. Google out there as well. So we'll fire those up while we're getting going here. All right. So if we wanted to, let's just say here that we were, going in for an interview with someone at, here in town. We'll just pick on SAIC, for instance. Okay, here in town, and immediately just asking Dr. Google, we can go out, we can find out, a lot about the information. They're trading at $45.32 a piece. They have different addresses here. You can see there's some background with Wikipedia, but really up here is somewhat what we're interested in here. And if we're being paid perhaps to do an assessment of this company, what would be kind of the pattern that we would be looking for here? Well, it really depends, right? What's the scope of the engagement? How much information are we looking to gather, and is it relevant or not to us? So, in this particular case, we can probably find out a lot of different information about this company. And this is probably where I should go ahead and stop the video.